The massive human warship HSS Dauntless shuddered as it dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. Admiral June gripped the arms of his command chair and looked at the main screen. "Status report," he said calmly. Captain Hana's fingers moved quickly over her console. "Sir, we are not at our planned coordinates. Navigation systems show we are in Sector J7. Admiral June frowned. Sector J7 was deep in galactic hegemony space. No human ship had ever traveled this far into their territory. The hegemony had ruled the stars for over 20,000 years. They saw humans who had only been in space for 150 years as annoying newcomers. "How did we end up here?" June asked. Engineer Tay's voice came through the comm system. "Admiral, our navigation computer shows signs of outside interference. This was not an accident." Lieutenant Day turned from the communication station. "Sir, we're being scanned by multiple ships. I count 15 hegemony warships moving to surround us." June nodded slowly. The situation was dangerous, but panic would not help. "Shields up. Weapons on standby only. Do not lock targets." "Sir?" "Captain." Hana raised an eyebrow. "We don't want to appear hostile," June explained. "Not yet." The main screen changed to show a large insect-like alien. Its multiple eyes blinked independently, and its mandibles clicked with obvious agitation. "Human vessel," the alien said, in a harsh voice. "This is Imperial Commander Glix of the Galactic Hegemony. You have illegally entered restricted military space. Power down your systems immediately and prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will result in your destruction." Admiral June stood up. At 63 years old, he was a veteran of many space conflicts. His gray hair was cut short and his dark eyes remained steady. "Imperial Commander," June replied with a respectful nod. "I am Admiral June of the Human Star Systems. Our presence in this sector is unintentional. We experienced a navigation malfunction." Commander Glix made a sound like grinding metal. "Unacceptable. Human ships are not capable of traveling this distance accidentally. You will surrender now or face the consequences." The transmission ended abruptly. "They've closed the channel," Lieutenant Day said, "and they're moving into attack positions." Captain Hana moved to stand beside the Admiral. Her tactical mind was already working on escape routes. "Sir, we're outnumbered and in unknown territory. Recommended course of action?" "What do we know?" "About this sector, Lieutenant Day?" June asked. Day checked his information screens. "Sector J7 is a border region between the hegemony and another group called the Voidborn Collective. It appears to be heavily defended due to ongoing tensions." Engineer Tay's voice interrupted again. "Admiral, I've completed my initial scan of our navigation systems. The coordinates were definitely changed remotely. This was a sophisticated attack." June paced the bridge slowly, thinking. "Captain Hana, what do you make of our surroundings?" Hana studied her screens carefully. "Standard hegemony patrol formation, but there's something odd about that installation near the 5th planet. It's giving off unusual energy readings that don't match known hegemony technology." "Lieutenant, Day, any communications you can intercept?" June asked. "They're using encrypted channels, sir, but there's a lot of chatter. I'm picking up signs of panic in their communication patterns. They genuinely seem surprised by our presence," Day replied. June smiled slightly. "Interesting." The ship rocked suddenly as a warning shot passed close by. "They're getting impatient," Captain Hana noted. Admiral June returned to his chair. "Open a channel to Commander Glix." When the alien commander appeared again, his posture showed even more agitation. Behind him, a slender gray-skinned alien with large black eyes watched carefully. This was Sub-Commander Trill, the intelligence officer. "Your time has expired, human," Glix said. "Commander," June replied calmly. "My engineer confirms our navigation was compromised. We did not choose to come here. However, now that we are here, I notice your reaction seems extreme. One might think you have something to hide in this sector." Trill moved closer to the screen, speaking for the first time. "What are you implying, Admiral?" "I imply nothing," June said. "I merely observe. The galactic hegemony claims to value diplomacy, Yet your first response to our accidental arrival is threats of destruction. The bridge crew of the Dauntless watched tensely as the alien commanders consulted with each other off-screen. Lieutenant Day leaned toward the Admiral. "Sir, I'm detecting another signal," he whispered. "Very weak, coming from the direction of the unusual installation Captain Hana noticed." Before June could respond, Commander Glix returned to the screen. "You will remain in place, human. A diplomatic vessel will arrive to discuss your intrusion." The alien's tone made it clear what kind of discussion he anticipated. After the transmission ended, Captain Hana turned to the Admiral. "They're stalling, probably waiting for reinforcements." "I agree," June said. "Lieutenant Day, what about that signal you detected?" Day worked his console controls. "It's very faint, sir, not coming from the hegemony ships. The message repeats in several languages. In human standard it says, 'They must not hide the truth. We need witnesses.'" The bridge fell silent as they considered this information. "Could be a trap," Captain Hana suggested. "Perhaps," June agreed. "But someone went to great lengths to bring us here." He turned to face his crew. "There's an old human saying, when you're invited to a party you didn't know about, always attend. You might be the guest of honor." Engineer Tay's voice came through again. "Admiral, I've discovered something else. The navigation hack didn't just bring us here. It also activated a dormant subroutine in our systems that I've never seen before. It's broadcasting something." "Broadcasting what?" June asked sharply. "Our exact position, sir, but not to the hegemony. The signal is directed toward human space." The Admiral's eyes widened slightly as understanding dawned. "We're not just witnesses. We're a beacon." Captain Hana looked confused. "A beacon for what?" "For whoever wanted us here," June replied. He made a decision. "Lieutenant Day, send a message to Commander Glix. Tell him we accept his offer of diplomatic talks. We will send representatives to meet with them." "Sir?" Captain Hana was surprised. "Is that wise?" Admiral June smiled. "Captain, I believe we were brought here for a reason. Someone wants the hegemony's secrets exposed, and they chose a human warship as their tool. Let's play along and see what we discover." He looked at the main screen, where the 15 hegemony warships still surrounded them. Beyond them, the strange installation pulsed with unknown energy. "After all," he added, "when you're in the wrong sector, sometimes the only way out is to go forward." The Dauntless hung in space, a solitary human ship in alien territory, waiting for whatever would come next. And somewhere in the darkness, unseen forces watched, pleased that their carefully laid plan was unfolding exactly as intended. The diplomatic shuttle from the HSS Dauntless approached the neutral station orbiting the massive gas giant. The station was a gray metal ring that spun slowly, creating artificial gravity for its occupants. Inside the shuttle, Admiral June sat, with Captain Hana and the hastily appointed diplomat Hyun. Hyun was not a true diplomat, but the ship's cultural specialist. He was the best option they had. "Remember," June said quietly, "we are here to gather information, not just talk. Keep your eyes open." "What exactly are we looking for, sir?" Hyun asked. His hands fidgeted with the collar of his formal uniform. "Anything unusual," June replied. "Why did someone bring us to this sector? What are they hiding?" The shuttle docked with a soft thud. As the airlock opened, they were met by Sub-Commander Trill. The gray alien's large black eyes studied them carefully. "Welcome to Station 7, Trill said without warmth. "Follow me." As they walked through the station corridors, Captain Hana noticed small details. There were more guards than necessary for a simple diplomatic meeting. The station seemed to be on high alert. They entered a large meeting room. At the head of the table sat a new alien, larger than Commander Glix, with deep red plates covering its body. 4 armed guards stood behind it. "I am High Admiral Vox," the alien announced. "I have come personally to handle this situation." June bowed slightly. "We appreciate your attention to this matter." High Admiral Vox did not return the gesture. Explain your presence in our territory. While the talks began back on the Dauntless, Engineer Tay was hard at work. He floated in the navigation control room, surrounded by open panels and exposed wiring. "Hand me that scanner," he said to his assistant. As Tay examined the navigation system, he found something strange. "This is odd. The hack came from inside our system, but the code isn't human or hegemony." In another part of the ship, Dr. Sook sat in the science lab. She was a small woman with intense focus. Her eyes were fixed on readings from the mysterious installation near the fifth planet. "Computer, analyze these energy patterns again," she said. The computer display showed a series of waves. "These don't match any known hegemony technology," she muttered. "And what's this biological signature?" Meanwhile, Lieutenant Day was at his communication station when his console beeped softly. A message appeared on his private screen. "Human ship. Danger. Meet us. Coordinates follow." Day looked around. No one else had noticed. The message was on a frequency only he was monitoring. After a moment's hesitation, he copied the coordinates and erased the message. Back at the diplomatic meeting, the discussion was not going well. "You expect us to believe your ship accidentally traveled through 3 restricted sectors?" High Admiral Vox demanded. "Our navigation was compromised," June explained again. "We did not choose to come here." "Then you should be eager to leave," Vox said. "Immediately." Diplomat Hyun spoke up. "With respect, High Admiral, since we are already here, perhaps this is an opportunity to improve relations between our species." Vox's body plates clicked together in what seemed like laughter. "Improve relations? Your species has been in space for barely a moment in galactic time. You have nothing to offer the hegemony." As they talked, Captain Hana noticed something. Every time the strange installation was mentioned, even indirectly, Subcommander Trill's posture changed slightly. She was hiding something. On the station, a hegemony scientist named Zarel hurried through a maintenance tunnel. He was not supposed to be there. His species had 4 arms and pale blue skin. He carried a small device that he pressed against a data port. "Please work," he whispered. The device lit up green. Good. Information began flowing to his secret receiver. Information about Project Extinction. Back on the Dauntless, Dr. Sook gasped as new data appeared on her screen. "This can't be right," she said. She checked again. The readings were clear. The installation was producing biological compounds that matched human DNA markers. They were making weapons designed to kill humans. Lieutenant Day had made a decision. He used a small ship called a Scout to travel to the coordinates in the message. He told his superior officer he was checking a sensor anomaly. The Scout drifted near a small asteroid. Day waited nervously. Suddenly, his screen lit up. A face appeared, neither human nor hegemony. The alien had purple skin and no visible nose. "I am Ambassador Quan of the Voidborn Collective," the alien said. "You are in grave danger, human." "Who are you?" "What do you want?" Day asked. "We are the ones who guided your ship here," Ambassador Quan explained. "The hegemony is developing illegal biological weapons in this sector. Weapons to use against your kind." Day's eyes widened. "Why would they target humans? We're not that important." Ambassador Quan's expression was hard to read. "That is what they want you to believe. The truth is your species frightens them. Humans adapt faster than any species they have encountered. In just 150 years, you have advanced more than others do in 1,000. Why bring our ship here? Why not just tell us?" "Would you have believed us?" Quan asked. "We needed human witnesses. We needed proof." At the diplomatic station, the meeting was ending. High Admiral Vox stood up. "You will return to your ship. You have 6 hours to leave this sector, or we will destroy you." As they walked back to their shuttle, Captain Hana whispered to Admiral June, "They're hiding something big, sir." "I know," June replied quietly. "And they're planning to attack us before we can leave." "How can you be sure?" Hyun asked. "Because High Admiral Vox would never have come personally unless this was extremely important," June explained. "And he's not letting us communicate with our ship. When they returned to the Dauntless, they found the crew in a state of high alert. "Admiral," Engineer Tay said as soon as they arrived on the bridge, "I found the source of the navigation hack. It came from a species called the Voidborn Collective. And I've discovered something worse," Dr. Sook added. "The installation is making biological weapons specifically designed to kill humans." Lieutenant Day stepped forward. "Sir, I've made contact with the Voidborn Collective. They claim they brought us here as witnesses." Admiral June looked at the main screen. The hegemony ships were moving into attack positions. "It seems we were expected," he said calmly, "and we've learned what they wanted to hide." Captain Hana moved to the tactical station. "Orders, sir?" A small smile appeared on June's face. "Signal the fleet." "What fleet?" High Admiral Vox's voice came through the communication system. He had been listening. Admiral June looked directly at the screen. "The one that's been following us since we left human space." "Did you really think we would travel with just one ship?" The sensors beeped urgently. In the darkness of space behind them, 20 human warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel. "Now," June said calmly, "let's talk about those biological weapons you're developing." Silence filled the bridge of the HSS Dauntless as 20 human warships moved into defensive positions around them. The hegemony fleet, which had seemed so threatening moments before, now looked small in comparison. "This is impossible." "Hi," Admiral Vox's voice crackled through the communication system. "How did your fleet get here undetected?" Admiral June's face remained calm. "The same way we tracked your biological weapons program, Admiral. We've been watching you for some time." In truth, June had been bluffing. The fleet's arrival was as much a surprise to him as to the hegemony. Someone high in human command had anticipated this situation. Captain Hana leaned close to June. "Sir, Fleet Admiral Sung is requesting to speak with you." The main screen changed to show a stern-faced woman with short gray hair. Fleet Admiral Sung commanded the 7th Human Defense Fleet. "Admiral June," she said with a nod, "I see you found what we were looking for." June kept his surprise hidden. "Yes, Admiral. The hegemony has been developing biological weapons designed to target humans." "As we suspected," Fleet Admiral Sung replied. "I'm sending you coordinates for a strike team. We need evidence from that installation." Meanwhile, on the hegemony command ship Eternal Victory, High Admiral Vox was in a rage. "How did they know?" he shouted at his officers. "Who betrayed us?" Sub-Commander Trill stood calmly in the corner. "Perhaps it was the same person who brought them here." A new alien entered the command room. General Drex was a feared military leader known for his ruthlessness. His species had thick armor plates and sharp claws. "The human fleet changes nothing," General Drex said. "We can still destroy them and blame it on a misunderstanding." "And what about the weapons program?" Trill asked. "If they have evidence, then we must destroy that evidence." General Drex interrupted. "I will go to the facility myself." Back on the Dauntless, a team was preparing for a dangerous mission. Commander Jin, a former Special Forces soldier, checked his equipment. He would lead the mission to infiltrate the research facility. "Remember," he told his team, "our goal is to gather evidence, not start a war." Dr. Yuna, the ship's medical officer, was going with them. "I need samples of the biological agents," she said. "We need to understand what we're facing." As the team prepared to leave, 5 small fighter ships launched from the Dauntless. Pilot Minho led the squadron. "Fighter 1 to Dauntless," Minho reported. "Will provide distraction and cover for the infiltration team." Admiral June watched from the bridge as the operation began. "Lieutenant Day, any word from our Voidborn Collective contact?" "Yes, sir," Day replied. "Ambassador Kwan says they're moving into position. They're ready to openly join our side once we have proof of the hegemony's illegal activities." The space around the gas giant erupted into action. The human fighters flew in complex patterns, drawing attention away from Commander Jin's infiltration ship. The hegemony fleet scrambled to respond, launching their own fighters. Pilot Minho rolled his fighter to avoid enemy fire. As he did, his sensors detected something unusual. "Fighter 1 to all units," he called out. I've found a weakness in their shield pattern. There's a fluctuation every 7 seconds. Sending timing data now. In the infiltration ship, Commander. Jin received the data. This will help us get inside, he told his team. Everyone ready? Their small ship slipped past the hegemony defenses and docked with the research facility. As they entered, they found the corridors eerily empty. Where is everyone? One team member whispered. They moved cautiously through the facility until they reached a sealed door marked with warning symbols. Commander Jin placed a device on the lock and the door slid open. What they saw inside made them freeze in horror. Large transparent tanks filled the room. Inside each tank floated human-like bodies in various stages of decay. They're testing the weapons on cloned human tissue, Dr. Yuna said, her voice shaking. She quickly began collecting samples and data. In another part of the facility, General Drex was working quickly. He could not let the humans find everything. He entered commands into a central computer. Self-destruct sequence initiated, the computer announced. 30 minutes until detonation. As Commander Jin's team searched deeper in the facility, they found a scientist hiding in a storage room. It was Zrel, the hegemony researcher who had been secretly sending out information. You must stop Drex, Zrel said frantically. He's going to destroy the facility. Why are you helping us? Commander Jin asked suspiciously. Because this research is wrong, Zrel replied. I didn't become a scientist to create genocide weapons. Out in space, the battle was intensifying. Pilot Minho had discovered that the timing pattern in the hegemony shields could be exploited. His fighters were causing significant damage. Fighter 3 on your left, Minho called out as he destroyed an enemy fighter. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Admiral June received an urgent message. Sir, Lieutenant Day reported, the infiltration team has found evidence, but the facility is set to self-destruct. They need more time. June turned to Captain Hana. Options. We could try to hack their systems, she suggested. Slow down the countdown. Do it, June ordered. As Engineer Tay worked frantically to hack into the facility's systems, something unexpected happened. 3 hegemony ships suddenly changed course. Sir, Day reported in surprise. Those ships are attacking other hegemony vessels. A new communication came through. A hegemony captain appeared on screen. This is Captain Knox of the hegemony cruiser Justice, the alien said. We've seen the evidence of the biological weapons program. This violates our most sacred laws. We stand with you against this atrocity. More hegemony ships began to break formation, turning against their own fleet. The balance of power was shifting rapidly. In the research facility, Commander Jin and his team were racing against time. They had collected the evidence, but they were trapped in a section of the facility. The exit is blocked, one team member reported. Suddenly, a wall exploded inward. Through the dust, they saw General Drex, his armor damaged and his claws extended. You will not leave with that evidence, he growled. Commander Jin stepped forward. You've lost, General. Your own people are turning against you. Then they will die too, Drex snarled as he lunged forward. Out in space, the Voidborn Collective finally revealed themselves. 20 sleek purple ships appeared from behind the gas giant's moons. This is Ambassador Quan of the Voidborn Collective. The transmission came to all ships. We have witnessed the hegemony's crimes and stand with humanity and those who seek justice. On the Dauntless, Admiral June watched as the tide of battle turned completely. What had started as one lost human ship in the wrong sector had become the catalyst for what looked like the fall of the mighty Galactic hegemony. Sir, Captain Hana said quietly, I think we were in exactly the right sector after all. Admiral, June nodded. The question is, what happens next? The answer would come sooner than he expected, as a massive ship appeared at the edge of the system. It was unlike anything they had ever seen before, and on its side was a symbol no one in the galaxy had seen for 10,000 years. The Empress herself had arrived. The massive Imperial ship hung in space like a dark star. It was 5 times larger than any other vessel in the area. Its surface was covered with ancient symbols that glowed with a soft purple light. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Admiral June and his crew stared at the screen in silence. "Is that—" Captain Hana began. "The Imperial flagship," Lieutenant Day confirmed. "The personal vessel of Empress Zal. No one has seen it in over a century." Communications Officer Park's console beeped urgently. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Imperial vessel. It's addressed to you personally." June straightened his uniform. "Put it through." The screen changed to show a being unlike any they had seen before. Empress Zal had silvery skin that seemed to flow like liquid metal. Her eyes were like pools of golden light. She wore no crown, but her presence commanded immediate respect. "Admiral June of the Human Star Systems," she said in a voice that seemed to bypass their ears and speak directly to their minds. "You have caused quite a disturbance in my empire." June bowed slightly. "That was not our intention, Your Majesty." The Empress's expression was unreadable. "Intentions matter less than actions, Admiral, and your actions have exposed a cancer within my government that I have long suspected." In the research facility, Commander Jin faced General Drex in tense combat. Drex's claws slashed through the air as Jin ducked and rolled. "You cannot win," Drex growled. "I have fought in 1,000 battles, but never against a human," Jin replied. He pulled a small device from his belt and threw it at Drex's feet. The device exploded in a flash of blinding light. Drex roared in pain as his sensitive eyes were overwhelmed. Dr. Yuna called out from behind a console. "Commander, I've stopped the self-destruct sequence, but we need to get these samples out now." Jin nodded. "Team, move out. Back to the ship." As they ran through the corridors, they encountered hegemony soldiers. But instead of attacking, the soldiers stepped aside. "What's happening?" one of Jin's team asked. "The Empress has arrived," a hegemony officer explained. "All combat operations are suspended by Imperial command." Out in space, the fighters had also stopped their battle. Pilot Minho watched in confusion as enemy ships simply powered down their weapons. "Fighter 1 to Dauntless," Minho reported. "The hegemony forces are standing down. What's going on?" Back on the Dauntless, Admiral June was still in conversation with Empress Zal. "The biological weapons program was never authorized by me," the Empress stated. "It was the work of a faction within my government that believed humans posed a future threat." "And what do you believe, Your Majesty?" June asked carefully. The Empress's golden eyes seemed to look through him. "I believe that fear is a poor foundation for policy. I have watched your species since you first ventured beyond your solar system. You are young, yes. Impulsive, certainly, but you possess something rare in the galaxy." "What is that?" Captain Hana asked before she could stop herself. "Hope," the Empress replied simply. "Most species who reach the stars have already begun to decline. They have built their greatest works, thought their greatest thoughts. But humans, you still believe your greatest days lie ahead." A new ship entered the system. It was smaller than the others, but clearly important. Lieutenant Day's console lit up. "Sir, it's an Earth government vessel," he reported. "Council Representative Lee is requesting permission to join the discussion." Within the hour, the command center of the neutral station was filled with representatives from all sides. Admiral June and Fleet Admiral Sung represented the human military. Council Representative Lee spoke for Earth's government. Empress Zal sat at the head of the table, while Ambassador Quan represented the Voidborn Collective. And to everyone's surprise, an ancient being called Collective Elder One had also arrived. The Elder's body seemed to be made of pure energy, contained within a transparent shell. "For 5,000 years, Elder One said in a voice that sounded like distant wind, "we have watched the hegemony oppress younger species. We intervened when we could, but we were too few." "Why help humans specifically?" Council Representative Lee asked. She was a sharp-minded diplomat with decades of experience. "Because you remind us of ourselves long ago," Elder One replied. "Before we evolved beyond physical form, Commander Jin's team had returned safely with their evidence. Dr. Yuna presented her findings to the gathered leaders. The biological agent was designed to attack human DNA specifically, she explained. but it could be modified to target any species. It violates every medical ethics code in the galaxy. Empress Zal's liquid metal face showed the first emotion they had seen. Anger. This ends today, she declared. General Drex and High Admiral Vox will face imperial justice. And what of the future? Admiral June asked. Will humans always be seen as a threat to be eliminated? The Empress was silent for a moment. Then, she did something unprecedented. She stood up and walked to a large window overlooking the gas giant and the assembled fleets. For 20,000 years, the hegemony has ruled through strength and tradition, she said. Perhaps it is time for a new approach. Fleet Admiral Sung stepped forward. The human star systems would be open to a genuine alliance, not just a peace treaty. As would the Voidborn Collective, Ambassador Quan added. Over the next hours, they discussed a new framework for galactic relations. Council Representative Lee proposed a council where all species would have an equal voice. Elder, one suggested technology-sharing programs to help lift up younger civilizations, and Empress Xal, to everyone's surprise, agreed to limits on hegemony military power. As the discussions continued, Admiral June stepped away briefly. Captain Hana joined him by a window overlooking the gas giant. When we dropped out of FTL in the wrong sector, I thought it was the worst mistake of my career, June said quietly. Hana smiled. And now we're helping write a new chapter of galactic history. We were pawns in someone else's game, June noted. The Voidborn used us. True, Hana agreed. But sometimes being in the wrong place at the right time is exactly where you need to be. 3 days later, on the observation deck of the Dauntless, Admiral June watched as ships from dozens of species gathered around the neutral station. Many were former hegemony subject worlds, coming to join what was being called the Sector J7 Accords. Lieutenant Day approached with a datapad. Sir, 17 more former hegemony worlds have requested to join the new alliance. And what does the Empress say about that? June asked. She says that empires rise and fall, but cooperation endures, Day replied. I think she's been waiting for this chance for centuries. Captain Hana joined them, watching as a delegation from Earth arrived to formalize humanity's role in the new galactic order. Our navigation error has redrawn the map of the galaxy, she remarked. It wasn't an error, came a voice behind them. They turned to see Collective Elder One floating nearby, his energy form pulsing softly. You knew what would happen, June said. It wasn't a question. We saw possibilities, Elder One replied. The future is never certain. But we knew humanity would react differently than other species. Where others would flee from hegemony space, you stayed to investigate. Where others would attack in fear, you sought diplomatic solutions first. You took a big risk, Captain Hana pointed out. The greatest journeys often begin with a single ship in the wrong place, Elder One said. His form seemed to smile. Or, perhaps exactly the right place after all. As Elder One departed, Admiral June turned back to the window. Ships of all shapes and sizes continued to arrive, former enemies now coming together to build something new. Sir, Lieutenant Day said with a small smile. It seems we're not in the wrong sector anymore. Admiral June nodded. The Dauntless had lived up to its name, venturing where no human ship had gone before. And in doing so, they had changed the course of galactic history. No, Lieutenant, he replied, we're exactly where we need to be.